Perfect. So I want to remind you guys something on our strategy. I realize there are people who still have a challenge and some things, but don't worry, we might have a session tonight if I'll be feeling well in the evening. So when it comes to looking for trading opportunities, there's something that I really want you guys to have it sticked in your mind. You need to understand time frame movements, and also you need to understand time frame coordination well. You don't just wake up from anywhere and you just analyze your charts. You really need to understand time frame movements, and then you also need to understand TC. We call it time frame coordination. Once you have this clearly, you won't have a challenge. Let's say, for example, if you're having a daily, you're looking at your charts from a daily perspective, and then you have something like this, right? Let me put it in different. Let's say you have something like this. Right? Now, let's say this is a daily chart. So the moment you have this is an area of interest. So for you to buy, all right, for you to buy, you can't start buying from up here. You'll need to wait for price maybe to come down all the way to this area of liquidity, and then maybe get a confirmation. Maybe now something like this. Probably price maybe inside this 1 hour of liquidity. We need to see maybe price doing something as such as this. No. So maybe once price comes here, and then now you can have buys take you up there, right? Are you guys following? Because here we have something like a transition with a shift and inside formation. So your interest should be maybe around this area. The problem that I realize most guys have is the patience. You know, if your setup has not matured, you can stay the whole day without trading. It's not a must for you to trade daily. Like if you remember very well, yesterday I updated something on gold. Right now, gold is very bullish. The only time we'll be sure that you're going to have some long-term sales, the moment we'll see a daily shift, that's when we'll have a couple of sales to the next area of liquidity before we take more buys. There's a likelihood that gold now is going to be heading to 4,000 anytime this year. So if you are trading right now, if you are selling, you should scalp, all right? If you're holding buys, well and good. But if you are, like yesterday, I had a nice scalp on gold. I got some sales, collected, I think, around $500, and I got out. So it's very important to understand the direction of the market. Don't just come into the charts and trade with illusions. You need to follow the system. That way, you won't have a lot of emotional problems, because if you trade anyhowly, you will be wiped. You know, there's some decisions, once you make them wrong from the word go, you might have a very bad week. So it's very important to clearly understand the direction of the market and where are we. Are you together? So now, if, for example, you're looking at whatever I'm sharing on the screen, this is like a daily structure. We know very well we coordinate it with 1 hour, but if you cannot see clarity on 1 hour, that's when we use 4 hours to get more details. Are we guys all together? Now, if you are trading continuational intradays, there's a way you do it. Let me show you. If you're trading continuational intradays, for example, let me show you, for example, for instance, let's say we're looking at a pair like GJ, and actually that's why I'm starting to break down my GJ pair. There's this trade that we had. Go back to monthly first of all. So the very first place we had a break of structure for the monthly was this. Then the market came all the way down here to consume liquidity with this week and went up. All this is like a range, but if you use these candlestick, on a weekly time frame, there was a type of liquidity that price was coming to consume before it keeps on going up. Now, if you're looking at the intradays, levels, we go to 4 hours and 1 hour. But if you look at what you have on the daily time frame right now, price came to react on this particular zone. It is, if you go to 1 hour, you'll see some refinement, and it has gone up all to this zone. Now, if you go to H1, let me remove these. If you go to H1, you can clearly see after price tapping on the area of liquidity, on the extreme point of liquidity, there was this impulsive push to the upside, and the market came later on. Let me put it in a line graph. The market came later on to react on this zone, which is like more of a flip zone. Are you together? It's more of like a flip zone. I'm talking about this particular zone. It's more of like a flip zone. Then the market has been going all the way to the upside. But as much as the market has been going all the way to the upside, it has not taken out this zone. Price hasn't broken this area. So which means whatever the market is doing right now, probably it's coming to consume before it continues to the bullish push to the upside. The market is going to come and consume the extreme inside formation that we have on 1 hour before maybe it goes all the way to the upside. And when you're talking about the extreme inside formation or the area of liquidity, we have this 185.281. It's a very nice zone that probably price might come and consume. If you measure the number of pips, this is where now your patience is being tested. So if you measure the number of pips, this now tells you need to go to 15 minutes time frame. If you go to 15 minutes time frame, or let me go back and change the color to avoid confusion. I'll put this to be green. Are we guys following? Let me see on the chat section if you guys are following. So if I go to 15 minutes, I'll get further information that will tell me if I have any liquidity that is left. Perfect. When I go to 15 minutes, I have two options. I have these, and I have this reactive liquidity engineering. So I can decide to go for 184.639, or I can go for 185, around 185. Let me use the line graph. If I use the line graph, I'll get, of course, the perfect. If I'm using the line graph, then my perfect area of buying will be 184.729, because we have some sort of reactive liquidity engineering. If I measure the pips, it's like 20 something, around 29. So if this now tells me I can go to 3 minutes. So I'm just giving you an idea, the best area to buy from, which is around 184 for continuational buys. But you see, the market, not unless we have catalysts that will push price in that manner. So you see now, when you're talking of that, that's the only best area that we have buys. But still at the top here, if you look at this recent structure at the top here, looking at the aspect of liquidity consumption, I want you guys to be keen on this. Looking at the aspect, I think I can delete all these other lines. Make my chart a little bit cleaner. So, okay. So guys, and then another thing, I want you to understand manipulation. If you change your chart into a line graph, this is the only highest price we have that was taken out. The wick that you saw there, it's a manipulation. It's a manipulation by these brokers. So sometimes they do that to confuse you. So you need to be aware of that. That's why it's very important sometimes use the line graph to get clarity of what is happening. Are we all together? So this week is irrelevant. This was manipulation because of those tariff things. So you should not consider this week. It will confuse you. So what you're supposed to use is this particular point. And if you look at what price is doing, price hasn't traded above that. So which means if the market is coming down, it will be going for the areas of liquidity. Because we had these, if I use my other aspect, we have what you call impure liquidity at this zone. Then we have an imbalance kind of thing. But I know, just know that once the market comes here, do refinement and get more buys from this zone. Are you together? So the moment price will be coming at this level, please make sure you do some refinement and get some buys around this area. But now looking at the recent price action that we have, Before we go there, of course, we might get sells or we might get buys from this resistance structure. So if I look at also what we have here, price did a transition, then it created a formation here. I'll show you, it created a formation on this particular area. Then I want to show you the aspect of liquidity consumption. So when the market was buying, after creating that impulsive move, it created this type 1. Price came inside, consumed it, went up. Then when it went up, it came to consume this area of liquidity. Are you together? And then since then, the market has been going up, all right? Up to near the zone that we had the highest of 189.825. Right now, we have this structure here, which price has come to test. There's a type 3 of liquidity here. And if you look at what happened, price came here also to react on this, and then it goes up. So what you're having right now, what you're having at the moment is this structure here. We have this structure. Let me show you. We have this structure here. Okay, hold on. We have this transition, but it doesn't have any talking about this particular area. Yes, so we have that. The market is reacting from this zone. So as far as I'm concerned, on 1 hour, we can see we have some shifts. We have some shift. This is the highest point, okay? And we have a shift point. Okay, hold on. Okay, just a moment. Trying to do it right. Yes, we had a shift point here. We are bullish on GU, but for intradays, we can look for sell. So we have that shift point. Then price went all the way inside, reacted on these. Price came to react on these liquidity engineering, all right? Then the market ranged here, went down. Then there's also another shift here, right? There, hold on. Just a moment, I want to see it clearly. As far as I'm concerned, we will be getting some cells from around this area. Then once we get those cells, we are going to come for these. Let me show you. Once we get some cells from around that zone, once we'll do refinement, we'll be coming all the way down here to get continuational buys. Be coming down there, and then we'll be getting continuational buys. These continuational buys, a little bit. These continuational buys, they're supposed to take us all the way up to 199. In fact, all the way to up there. So for intradays, you should focus on looking for sales, right? For today, you should focus on looking for sales. If I go to 15 minutes, let me show you something. If I go to 15 minutes, yeah, actually, that's the zone that I can see we have. We will even put our entry. Hold on. And to see if we have any structure that is left to the extreme high. That one has been consumed. Okay. See the farthest point. This one also was consumed. I don't see any business up here before we take that high. So the only area that I feel like we might get. So the zone to consider is around this area. If you put your chart like that, Yeah, actually that's the best area to look for sales around that zone. Of course, you know how to do refinement, 20 pips. Then from there, we drop all the way down. Your first take profit should be at 187.47. Then the extreme take profit should be 184.724, and that will be our buying entry. Are we all together, guys? Simple as that. So that is on intradays for GJ, because long term we are bullish. We are bullish. So guys, as much as you consider fundamental, understand areas of liquidity. There's this thing of confluences, like what do you call it? This thing of correlation. Don't think that dollar is buying the euro USD. Yes, it is true, but know where are we in terms of price, so that when you're doing your refinement and your analysis, you know the best area to. You should not. I think as a trader, you should focus on not giving your money. The only money that a broker should take from you is the spreads, commissions, swaps, and all. But they should not just take your money easily. So you need to get best entries. I always say this: focus on quality trades. Don't be jumping everywhere. You're just looking for trades every now and then. Get few trades, and your life will be better. If you get a few trades, quality trades, have good capital, take 1, 2 to 3 trades in a week, or even 5 to 12 trades in a month, or whichever, depending on what you're looking into. And make money, go outside there, invest. Don't be on the charts daily. Why we are trading Forex is to make profits and then go invest those profits outside there. Then we have the freedom we want. No one wants to be on the charts. Like, I've been sick, but as much as I've been sick, I'm okay. It doesn't mean that I could not look at the charts. I was able to get a few pairs and collect a few pips. Anyway, so that is on GJ. Do we have a question on GJ before you go to gold and maybe other pairs that I've shared in the group, EURUSD and SDCHF? Any question on GJ or any critic? It doesn't mean that whatever I'm saying is correct. Maybe there's another way someone is viewing GJ. We are open to listen to that. Does silence mean that all of us are in agreement? That is on GJ.
Buffett.
Yes.
GJ, okay, so we refine our entries on 3 minutes.
Yes, no. Okay, like right now,
Yes.
I've finished my analysis on 1 hour, and then because the sell was up around, I think, 40 pips, I went to 15 minutes. So from 15 minutes, you go to 3 minutes, not 5 minutes, guys. Are we together? That's why I
Okay,
started
yeah, 3.
time frame movements and time frame coordination. So these are how the market moves: monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, M3, 1M. 1 minute is universal. It can be used with all these other time frames. But when you're doing proper time frame coordination, it's daily, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 3 minutes. If you realize that 3 minutes, it's still not giving you what you want, you go to 1 minute. If you're using 4 hours, okay, if you're using weekly, 4 hours, 30 minutes, 5 minutes. From 5 minutes, you go to 1 minute. If you're using 1 hour, it's 1 hour, 15 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute. I think that's clear. And then the thing to do with the fast trouble area, I mean FTS, I'll talk about. I don't want to use it right now because you can still make money with what you know. But FTS, I'll talk about it. How do you, whenever you're not seeing clarity on 1 hour, how do you use 4 hours to have okay, how can you use 4 hours and 1 hour when you're using daily to get a confirmation that will give you confidence that that setup is very valid? So if in this case, for example, this is 19. So if I go to 3 minutes, maybe let me see, I'll see maybe unconsumed area of liquidity. So long as it's within my, what makes me to go all that way, it's so long as it's within my, what do we call it? My stop loss, I don't need to go further refining. So if you look at this very well, we could say this is a flip on 3 minutes. I don't know if you know what kind of a flip is this. What kind of a flip is this, guys? So if I needed to do further refinement, but why should I go there and yet I've gotten a stop loss that is making sense to me? Because from here up to hold on, it was 15 minutes. From there up to where we have our hold on, where we have our furthermost deviation, which is backed up with type 5 of liquidity. I'm talking about this area. We have an SL of around 20. Actually, we can even use 15, but I'm putting it to be 20 pips altogether. So sometimes you give an extra of 2 to 3, it depends with the broker you're using and the spreads. Like there's a trade, I had a very nice trade, but because of the broker I was using, it took me out and went to my direction. So those things happen. So that's why also the aspect of a broker should be considered. Because guys, again, even when you're doing your analysis on TradingView, consider checking a couple of pairs. I mean, a couple of servers. Check on forex.com or Handa. Then we also have FXN or FXM. I think so. Because there's a time, like there's a certain trade I had, I realized on Ohanda, everything was correct. On forex.com, there's some hidden information. Then the moment the trade had missed, that's when I realized, like, but if I had checked on all the brokers, I could have adjusted my entry and maybe I could have gotten that entry triggered. I missed the trade because of the different, not considering to check on different servers. And mostly you should do that when you're checking on a higher time frame, like daily, monthly, weekly, 4 hours. But anything below below these other time frame, you can use forex.com. So I think we are done with GJ. So let's check on gold. Let's check on gold. The problem is patience. There's someone who will be like, when will this trade? Just wait for the market to give you the setup. That way you will be safe. Don't force trades. If there is no clear setup, it's not a must you trade daily. Wait for tomorrow. You can stay Monday, Tuesday, no trade. Wednesday, you get a trade that will feed you for the next month, 2 or 3 months. It depends with the size of your capital and what you are doing in the market. So let's look at gold.
Before you go,
Yes.
I think hapo chini kuna ni engineering ama reactive liquidity.
Use English. Chini wapi?
Let me draw it. Then
Just give me the price level.
Around there.
Liquidity.
Engineering mahali hapo ya
Uh-huh.
kama tunaweza panda nayo mpaka juu. I was having an entry there.
For buys.
Yeah, for buys, for intraday buys still hapo ingia hapo hivyo nini.
Give me the price level. I want to refine it and tell you why I'm considering some zones. Just give me the price level if it's 187.7.
Let me see what. Let me see on my. It's on one. A minute. 187.547.
187.5.
47. Niangalilie kama hiyo iko sawa.
187.5.
5 it is.
So
547.
547. Okay. Now you're talking about this particular area.
Basati,
Yes.
let me say something.
Okay, let me first of all finish up with Henry and then I will allow you to say whatever you want to say.
Okay, so
I think you're talking about this particular point. Henry, I believe you're talking about this particular point.
Yeah.
There's a transition here. For intraday, it could be valid, but let me just try to do a refinement. You see, let me tell you something. When this market has been doing all this, before the momentum kicks in, no matter how long price has to come all the way down here, and then it will move massively all the way to the upside. But whatever is happening here, look at these reactions here. Price has tapped here a couple of times. Eventually, it will come and break this zone. Yes. But this is the highest. If I use the line graph, in fact, it will show me this area. That's where we have the highest point in terms of the body wheel, right? So, and down here, we have a little bit of an imbalance. These are an imbalance candlestick. If you remember what I was teaching you guys about in pure liquidity, if I go probably to 15 minutes, you realize initially the market was being rejected here, and then we had this impulsive push. Price came. Let me extend this. Price came and tapped this on, and then it's been buying, right? But before we continue with the impulsive, or we continue with the trend, which is bullish trend for some time. Later on, I don't know when, it might even not happen this week. Market will come here, 184.724, before it starts rallying all the way to the upside. Now, for the case of Henry, what he's saying, if I look at it on 1 hour time frame, I can see we have some sort of a type of liquidity here. We have this. Let me draw it. It's not valid. Why? We don't have any body candlestick closure here. Let me show you. We don't have any body. This is supposed to be the lowest point, and then this is supposed to be the highest point, right? So which means we don't have any body closure below here. So there's a likelihood, yes, Henry, I think you're right. There's a likelihood, two possibilities before we continue selling. So we have this transition, hold on. Yes, so if I go to 15 minutes, on 15 minutes, we have this. Yes, you can get that by idea from that zone. Then we have, what is 15 minutes? Okay, we have that. And then, hold on. That is 21, 22 pips, okay? So we will have our entry for buys before we sell, probably around this area. Then hold on, guys. Yes, so the perfect area to, okay. So you can have an, there's this formation, but it's not a type of liquidity, okay? Nice. So your entry can be 187 around here. Just want to measure the pips first. It makes sense to me. Take the buy. Those are like 20 something pips, okay? Just want to get all the finer things. Intradays, you can go all the way to 1 minute. Just want to get any hidden liquidity or rather structure that has not been consumed. Right. So two possible areas. We have that these are flip, or 187.6. So you can have an entry here If you want to take the some short-term buys, then go to one hour, see if it's on the weeks. Yes, perfect. So you can have an entry here, a short-term buy around that green line. You can have an entry there. Maybe that will deliver you back here. That's like 100 and something pips. And then, boom, we sell before we go up. This is just an intraday idea. Yes, Kim, you had a question, or you want to say something? Please feel free.
Oh, I wanted to say,
yes,
I think GJ, I had the same sales on is it Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
I had a type 1 liquidity hapo.
Which time frame?
Then 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
On Thursday, then I took that sale yenye imemwagika hapo on Thursday.
From here?
Then yeah, I had a shift, yeah. Last week Thursday. I think hata hii shift tumemark hapa kando, alafu hii ka retrace, alafu ikasell around 3%.
Oh, you're talking about this formation here, which has a type 1, right?
Yeah, type 1, that one. I took that sell, and then it went to the downside. I think we closed with around 3%. So I think on the same insight on GJ, we have confirmed another shift to the downside.
Yes.
So I think on the setup when you gonna shift is more having to have a better probability than in a shift. So I think if you get a pullback to the upside, as Basweti has marked, you can refine that entry, and we get a nice sell to the downside as we target the main the other main area 1 liquidity koko chini yenye buys.
Yes.
So I think for this one, the A+ setup is that one that has a change of character, or the shift, that one that we are looking for sells, and then we look for buys huko chini.
Yes, actually, this one here, yes, it can be valid, but it is riskier. We are looking for setups that has high probability. I will prefer going for a setup that has a 70% winning and 30 losing than the one that is 50-50%. You understand? And in short,
Yes.
when you're trading against the trend, okay, we know the trend is generally bullish, but for this case, intraday, we need to have consumption of liquidity because of the imbalance that was left here, down here, before now we continue pushing all the way up. Are we together? But right now, whatever, for intradays, these are like scalps. You can scalp if you want, but for me, I don't want this noise. I just want to either price to come down here for me to buy, or price to come up here before me to sell. But again, Kim, maybe just to add on something, that setup that you had was very valid, but for me, I've done a lot of refinement, because if you look at this structure here, 1 hour, this is a formation, right? Without considering the aspect of liquidity consumption. That's why actually it tapped here. But the way I know you, your stop loss is always 1 R, 2 R.
No, not that one. It's unaona hapa kando, unaona hii kawika kwa hapa kando, enda to the left. See, unaona hii retracement. Haya, shift ndio hiyo, alafu hii pullback imespike hapa juu, alafu ikasell.
Oh, I get it. Oh, you're talking about this one? Oh,
yeah, that shift.
If this one, this is very valid. This is good, because here we have some
if you refine that one on the 1 hour, you get a type 1 around Apple Jew, and then you refine to 3 minutes, you get that entry spike.
In fact, we had a flip. In fact, we had a flip at this area.
Yes.
We had a flip at this area. If I go all the way to 15 minutes, let me see if there's that type 1 that you're talking about.
Not 1 hour. I think, is it 1 hour? 1 hour. 1 hour shift.
The only thing I can see is a flip.
Okay. Oh, kidogo, I see the actual. It's 1 hour, then you refine to 15, then 1. Yeah. The 15, then 3 minutes for entry.
I was trying to look for that type of liquidity you're talking about, but anyway, let me see. Yes, that was a very nice. Hiyo ilikuwa setup ya lini yenye nilimisi hiyo, I don't know. I think it's when I was seriously.
Ilikuwa Thursday, ulikuwa mgonjwa.
Thursday I was down. I didn't even look at the chart on Thursday. Trust me, if I was on, I could see this setup. Anyway, that was a nice one. So for now, guys, we are trading in a probability market, right? And let me tell you something. Don't look for perfectionism. Just look for a nice trade. Let me read some few things for you before I talk about gold. I think I'll spend much time here. But rather, I'll say in the group. There's this aspect of when you're talking of having a system, there are some checklists that you need to have before you execute the trade. Okay, when you're analyzing, all those things. I think this is what you're going to learn this week. I have all the sessions that we're going to learn this week. I'll be focusing so much on journaling, risk management, backtesting, having a mechanical plan. That's what I'll be covering for the next this week and next week. And then now we start the assessment and the perfection process. Anyway, so we don't want to waste much time here. Let's look at gold. So we already know what you're looking at, GJ. So let's look at gold. Let's look at gold. Then I'll be looking at GU, Euro, Audi, USD, JPY. Rather, let me finish up with the. Okay, guys, give me a minute. Meanwhile, Aris, you can be talking. Just give me a minute. I sort on something as you talk. Maybe if you have anything on your end. Or maybe you can help me looking at any pair. I sort on something urgently.
Basi utaenda wapi bwana? Esbon.
Basi wetu amekuajia kidogo, amesema anasort kitu.
So ni sabash ni share hiyo GJ nimerefine and then Unaonaje hiyo GJ nani? Leonard?
Naona iko sawa.
Nimerefine namna hiyo.
Aha.
Entry yangu iko hapo na SL ni around I think 20 what 25 pips or 25 pips 26 pips iko sawa. Sell above the FMD, ndio? I think iko best. Ama kama unataka conservative unaweza weka SL juu kiasi 30 pips pia si mbaya, but hata hapo iko sawa. Because we're looking to target, ideally we're looking to na move hii liquidity hapa. This lot of liquidity, a lot of orders are seated there, so let's wait and see if it will play out. Leonard, uko na kitu?
I think GJ is what I was looking at, so I don't have anything else right now. On gold, still bullish. Yeah, that is still bullish. If we are going to look for anything, Basweta said we just look for sales, scalps, but long-term entries are buys.
Nimekutafuta sana bana, sikupati bwana mzee Leonard.
Hebu ndakutafuta.
Sikupati bana, nakutafuta tufanye 1 2, sikupati.
Sawa. I'm going to contact you shortly. Yeah.
I think I was seeing something on Nasdaq, but iko mbali kidogo, ni higher time frame. Still same buys huku chini, na area 1 liquidity hapo. But hiyo ni higher time frame, acha tuone. Ilikuwa na hii momentum ya sell huku chini. Jago respective flip zone hapa, so leo kianza mwagika New York tunaweza I'll share the group, acha ivane. Bado
And then I
confirm now.
Kim, there are people who don't understand Swahili, so I
Oh,
tried.
sorry. As I was stating, I'm seeing something on Nasdaq coming, but still waiting for clear market structure to the downside so that I can confirm the setup. I'll share it with the community, maybe today evening or tomorrow, still in the booking. But it's still it's a higher time frame setup for 1 hour. So, but I think we still also still have a major shift up around here. So let's see how price action will play out today during New York, and then we can maybe have that setup. We have a nice area one liquidity down here be mitigated. So let's wait and see how the Nasdaq will go. But for today, I think GJ, if you get a pullback, New York is already and London is still open. During New York, if you get a nice pullback, this one you can enter with all your savings. And even if you get 2R, 3R, even 2%, 2R is around there. Very decent. 2R is there, 3R is around there. Even if it's, let's say you come to mitigate this low is around 4%. So that one's a nice setup to take on if it plays out our way. But let's wait and
Your
see.
chat is shouting.
Shouting what?
Your chat is very colorful. Anyway, it's okay.
So it means I am tar.
You are what?
So I was saying I have refined my entry around that zone with 3 minutes. I told GJ will come back to this zone to look for sales to the downside. So that was what I was saying. You can continue, Basit.
Okay, thank you for that. So guys, let me summarize. Let me summarize on gold. Let me talk about gold, and then I'll talk about other pairs, because I know someone like Mark is waiting for gold, nothing else. Anyway, Eli, how are you? How is your morning?
I'm fine, Basweti.
All right, let's look at gold and see what we have today. Gold, we are generally very bullish, but let's see what we have on intradays. Let me see what we have on intradays. Just want to spend some time talking about gold. Then I'll be looking at other pairs. Today I feel energetic and very strong. I think today I'm going to make a lot of money. So, all right. So guys, gold, we are very strongly bullish. I want to talk on some specific price zones first. There's this setup I had for buys after scalping. I didn't share with you guys because but I collected 300 pips and left out. Let me explain it first, and then I'll go to the general overview. There's this setup I had around this one yesterday before taking my scalps. Someone is making noise. Make sure if you're not talking, have your mic muted. So there's this setup I had here. I collected only 300 pips and left. If you're keen, yesterday I had a scalp from around here. Let me show you guys. Collected around 70 pips, if I'm not wrong. 70 or 60. I had a scalp from here, yes. Then once the price came here, tapped. You know, those trades that once you get them, I don't know why I closed. If I could have held, by now I would be very rich. But I collected 300 pips. It was around here. Left. But if you look at, since that zone up to where the market is, it's over 1,000 pips, yes. The guys in the community who've been holding buys from 20, let me show you. It is 29.98. Let me go daily. You know, guys, patience pays, especially when you're dealing with gold. It was 28, I think, yes, 28. Let me see, 28. Missed. The guys who've been holding these buys from here. Yeah, from here. Perfect. from 2980. Those are like how many pips so far? 5,000 pips. Even if you are using a lot size of 0.1, guys, just a lot size of 0.1, that is 5,114 pips. With a lot size of 1, that is $5,000. If you are able to use 10 lots, so that is $511,000. So making money in trading, it needs patience and proper trade management. Don't panic, don't force anything, just go with the system. And there's nothing like luck in trading. Even if there's luck, it comes with after hard work. Anyway, let me now talk about gold. So when you look at gold, guys, starting from the monthly time frame, you can clearly see that we are strongly very bullish. And considering the aspect of what we have on the fundamentals, considering the aspect that we have on the fundamentals at the moment, or the fundamental effect, we might be pushing up further, because gold is one of those assets that are considered as safe haven whenever we have uncertainties in different economies. Most people tend to put their money on gold. So when that happens, the demand keeps on going up. All right. I hope I'm recording this session. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Yes. So the demand keeps on pushing up further. Now, from the monthly perspective, this is, I think, this is way back in 20. This is way back in 2020. Now, on the recent areas that we had from last year, December, around December, we had, remember, there's a price level 26. There's a buy I got around that zone. Good. So when you look at the monthly time frame, zones of liquidity, this month we have 31.25, and here there's a setup I shared. I don't know if it's this week or last week, whereby I was telling guys, once price comes to 31.24 point something 6, we're gonna get more buys to take us up. But if you look at what is happening, it's like gold has already tapped. We were looking at 3,500 price level, and if you see what we have right now, it's like the market is let me show you. The market has already tapped the 3,500 price level. So we'll expect some slight push to the downside before we continue going up. So why am I having the 31.25 zone? This is an area of liquidity, and we have a flip zone. This is a very nice flip zone that we need to consider. So make sure you have an alert or have this being checked every time. Once price comes here, you're going to have some nice push up further, because every time the market moves, it seeks liquidity to give it enough momentum to push to the direction of the trend. Remember, the rule is always very simple. Price moves from liquidity to liquidity, and when you see high momentum, crazy momentum, price has already grabbed liquidity. When you see price trying to move in a range, it's what you call it, being liquidity build up before it pushes to the direction of the trend. Now, so once the market comes all the way to this area, just know that you're going to get some nice buys that could even take us to the 4,000, 5,000, or even up to 6,000 level. We've been saying this and people think that it's a joke. Gold's we might even be heading to 6,000 area soon. But the first area we're gonna go for now is 4,000. Since price has tapped the 3,500 mark, if you see what is happening, after touching that, you can see price is trying to. So we'll have some sort of sales for some time, a little bit. And once we have those sales, we're going for the areas of liquidity. So first area that you need to really have keen attention is 31.24. Then and remove all these drawings and do it properly. So monthly, why that area? Let me explain. Here we have a week overlap. Then when you go to the daily time frame, we have a failed liquidity engineering, which is a flip. Are you together? That's why we have that. So if I go to the daily time frame, I can refine my entry here. So I expect my first flip should be at around that particular price zone, rather price level, right? If price will not hold, goes at level. If price won't hold, I'll be going to 3,000 level, whereby I'll get more buys. Are you together? Now, that is on the daily time frame. But for today or intradays, we have this structure here, which was to be considered yesterday. We have that structure here. Structure here. If the 3,500 levels, since price has reacted on that zone, Daniel Mutai, mute your mic. So if today's, let's say, for example, if you'll have any body candlestick on the daily time frame coming all the way down, and we have any candlestick that will close below this area, just know that that could be a chance for us to come all the way down here before we go up. If you'll have any candlestick that will close below this area, especially on daily time frame, that will be an indication of us maybe having further sales before we push and now break above. We have strong breaks above 3,500 price level. Are we together? But now for still on the intradays, so we have this area and we have this weak overlap that are created here, which you'll see a lot of information on 1 hour and 4 hours. I go to 4 hours. Let me find this first. Sorry, 1 hour, I mean. You'll realize that we have a type of liquidity which is seated here. Is a structure. So once you understand time frame movement, guys, your life becomes sweet and you know how to do it properly. So there's a likelihood of this price coming down here. And then, okay, 1, 2. This candlestick has closed below this one. All right. So, okay. Yes, we have a type 1 here on 15 minutes. Okay. So if you want more buys, you can either consider this. So you can consider this inside formation on 15 minutes, or consider you can consider this 34.18 for more buys. So we have this 42.27 or this. Are we guys following? I don't know if my screen is being shared. Are you guys following? Have this.
Yes, we are following.
Okay,
It's
but
very
look at the cell is so big, so you need to know how to use common sense. And so if you go to 3 minutes, why I'm talking about this area, guys, if you look at the structure, we have this continuational shift, then we have this formation. From the upside, we can see some sort of transition. Just common sense and logic. And don't be greedy, because you can overhold. If you're scalping, but interested on since price has touched the week has touched, I think, has the really price touched the 3,500? I think so. And it has left as a type 1. So we could use this structure to 3 minutes. Get more scalps down to the 1 hour level. Yeah. Can get some scalps here, you know. Probability, every trade is risky. 50 something, okay. So you can get some scalps there, sells if market comes there, but I'm more of that's not bad. 30 something pips is not bad. But if I go back to 15 minutes and 1 hour, I want you guys to understand something. On 15 minutes, price has done this transition, but on 1 hour, we can see this candlestick and this one has closed below this one. So there's a likelihood of the market coming to this area. So I feel more safe to look for buys here. I'm done for the day. Gold is one of the assets that can give you 150 to 200 pips easily. So if you measure maybe from this area all the way up here, that's 600 pips. So even if you look for just 200 pips, you're done for the day. You know, it depends. I think I'll be flipping my account today. I want to sit on this gold very well. I want to get an entry. I want to flip $100 to $1,000 in a few today. I need some money so that I can sleep the whole of the week anyway. So yeah. So okay. You see, we have this and we have this. So Alice, to answer your question that you had the other day, whenever you have two double areas of liquidity, you can consider this, but the extreme one is the best because this low, hold on, you see this low here, caused this break. Then after that break, price left us with an outside formation, which is this one. Hold on, my chart is hanging. So after price did that, it left us with this. So is my chart hanging? I'm showing you guys intraday areas where you need to look for entries. Nice. So price left. Where is my chart? Hold on. Sorry guys, my internet took me out. Just a moment, I reshare my screen. All right, you guys can still see my screen? Come to someone to confirm that for me kindly. Is my screen visible? Guys.
Yes, it's visible.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So let me finalize on this and then I talk on another 2-3 pairs and then we see how the day goes. So gold, okay, I was saying this on 15 minutes, we see price did this. In fact, I can see a very nice flip around this one. So price did a shift, okay, break of structure, and then it left us with this outside formation. So there's a likelihood of this market might come here and react. And this type of a shift is a type 5, if I'm not wrong. Right? So the market might still come here. So, you know, it depends with your risk appetite, guys. Market might come here, tap, and even decide to go from here. If you do refinement, trust me, you will get more than 150 pips from this zone if you do refinement. You see, that's 400 pips. That's why I like gold. Gold can make you very rich and very poor very fast if you are gambling. But if you know what you are doing, gold can build you houses, can buy you whatever you want if you know what you're doing. So that is it. So in short, I'll summarize by saying this specifically for intradays. I look at 1 hour. Let me see what we have on 1 hour on these zones. There are also things that we consider. You don't just take trades. On 1 hour, it's on weeks overlaps, right? It's on weeks overlaps. So these are two possible areas to buy from. So we have 2450, it's a psychological zone. And then we have 2425. Sorry, I mean 3450 and 3425. So what is needed here, guys, is refinement. If you decide to do your refinement in this manner, you'll have reactive liquidity engineering there at 3414. There's a friend of mine who woke up in the morning. He's made, I think, since yesterday, he's made around 100,000. There are guys who don't joke outside here. I think he has made $100,000 from 1500 USD. He's been trading since yesterday, so he's made $100,000 just scalping. No, it depends. Anyway, so we have that. Yes, we have that. So you can decide to have your entry here because the whole of this is a structure. It's an area of liquidity. The whole of this. But if I look at the consumption, this zone has been consumed, or rather, this structure has been consumed. Talking about the structure. Then now we have the whole of this, and we have this inside structure. Let me go to 3 minutes and try to refine for you guys. I know I'm making it simple, others are confused, but it's part of our business. Don't worry. As time goes by, you'll get used to these things. From 3 minutes, in fact, is giving me a perfect liquidity engineering. Structure. Because if you do again a lot of refinement, you might miss the entry. So in 3 minutes, this one price tried to come inside. Is this really type 3? No. We can take our entry actually on this area. But because of psychological zone, 34, 25 is a good zone to buy to if this area fails. Right? A minute. Now, we have this structure, right? Tapped. And we don't have any type here, V2V, okay? Tapped in pure liquidity on 1 minute. Then, so the only zone that I feel like it's good for us to get some buys, it's 25. Yes, these are a good area to buy from. Let me go back to 1 hour and see where the entry is. That's very important, guys. The entries on the wicks. So these are two areas that you can get your buys. I'll be taking these trades. I'll be observing price. I'll be on the charts to observe price. Once I get what I want to see, I'll not hesitate to take the trades. And in fact, I'm going to do 5 lots on this one. So this will be my first trial. But again, I want you also to understand these guys. You know, as price is doing all these, let me explain this for the purpose of learning. As price is doing this, my market might decide if sellers might not be going above the 3500 right now, the market might decide to form some structures here and then drop and come and text this. If it does that happen, the story changes. We'll be looking for sales. Are you together? And then maybe that's how the price moves. Just understand the liquidation process. Are we guys together? Are we following? Let me see the chat section. We are 21 here. Let me know if you're following, if you're understanding what I'm talking about, if I'm making sense, if you're being confused, if things are complicated, Let me see in the chat section. I'm back to normal. I'm back to where I used to be. So I'm going to drop a lot of ideas this week. Yes, so early, that is it. So tunaweza after we can look for buys at 34.25. But if the market, you need to observe how the kind of price action. The market comes and start forming some structure because the market might play around here. So this is they're not even in London, New York. The market might try to play around and then create some liquidity structure and then later on. Pew. So 33.43 is important and 32.83. But for intradays, the first zone 34.50 and 34.25. So consider that. So when you're doing your analysis and you're refining, make sure when you go to the constant time frame that you're using, for example, in this case for intraday, make sure you look at if your entry is near the opening price of a candlestick, then trust me, chances are the entry is high probability. It's high probable or has a high probability. So I'll be going massive once. I will be observing price actions once market comes here because I need to do some massive trades this week. So yeah, that is it. So you know our rule, our stop loss rule, guys. Of course, you know our stop loss rule. So I don't need to tell you what to do. So I know if you use these, there's some sort of type 3. In this case, you know our stop loss rule, 20 pips. To see 1 hour, 1 minute reaction. There's some setups, once you see them, especially in gold, there are times you don't need to use the 20 pips sometimes. At times I use actually 30. You see, like this trade I'm trying. You don't have to force things. Yes, that's the thing that I want you guys to understand. But this is some sort of nice setup. So you can have your sell here, enough for 40 pips, even up to 50. Because you need to look at the reward too. Because if this is 1 hour, then the trade is gonna deliver maybe to you, let's say, sometimes you have to consider also the reward. If the reward is making sense, then let the stop loss also make sense. Because if the market comes here and maybe you have that, if you have a sell and a sell of 50 pips and the market is guaranteeing you over 500 pips, that is an RR of 1 to 10, then that is making sense. Yes, you have to consider session. New York is about to happen. I know in the London session. So expect some moves during the New York session. Just expect some crazy moves on gold during the New York session at around 3:30, 4 p.m. and then 8 p.m. Asia squeezy. Nowadays, gold, even during the Asian session, it moves, especially when the sessions are normal. Not like when we had holiday on Monday or from Friday. So anyway, I think on gold I've shared whatever. If you have your highs, you know what to do. So let's check on which pair was that? Yeah, GJ and gold. That's nice. So which other pair that you guys want us to look at before I wrap it up? Oh, let me share with you. There are some setups ahead in my watch list. I have NSDs, New Zealand dollar. Let me talk about it. I shared in the group why I have it there. Yeah, we're gonna look at GU. Don't worry. Nation Mugo. Nation, are you in our community? Which community are you? Are you in Capital? Are you in Kim's group? Are you in my group? Which group are you in? Nation, Hugo. Are you in Kim's group, Benji's group, or my group? What's up, community? Oh, you're in our public. You should be in our Discord. Pay some money and I'll add in our Discord group. Anyway, so guys, NSDCHF on the daily time frame, I want to ask someone a question. Constance, are you here? What do you see on NSDCHF on daily? Why do you think I have this?
Because there's a type 1 area, it's not type 1, type 5 area of liquidity.
That is a type 5.
Of them. Type 5, oh, right, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because there's a type 5 area of liquidity at the daily time frame. And I think you've done your refinement and there's a break of structure to the downside.
Yes. So this market is gonna pull back up to this area. Then once you come to our area, we drop. That's actually why I have that. So let me just try to break it down for you guys. So we have that area. If you look at it, we have that area, right? Then my entry is based on 1 hour. So if I go to, you need to know how to mark validation and validation points. Then there's a type. So if I go to 1 hour, in fact, the stop loss is still big. But once price will be coming around that area, I'll be focused on doing a refinement. I'm using reactive liquidity engineering for my entry. So if you measure the pips, pretty sure it's more than, you see. Oh, the last time I checked, it was 30. I think I refined without even checking. So it's 12 pips. That makes sense. So when I have that, I always put my entry around these bodies. This is now reactive engineering. Most of the CHF pairs, guys, if you do a lot of refinement, sometimes you might miss. But if again, you see this reactive engineering, sometimes there's some brokers who do manipulations on the week to confuse you. So, but I'll consider this area. I'll consider that area. Even if I go further to 15 minutes, if my chart will allow me to see that. Okay. If I go to 15 minutes, you realize that it's like a normal type, but on 1 hour it's a reactive, you see. That's why I have my entry around that zone. So that is a trade that you're waiting for. Once price comes, that will be a very nice swing to drop with. That will be a trade that will give us around 400 pips. That's an RR of almost 1 to 22, right? So have a consideration of that. So if you check on what you're having right now, you could get some buys to push you up there. So let me try to help you see if you can get some buys. So the market went. This is where we have a true shift. That's where we have a true shift on 4 hours. Are we guys following? So our shift is at this area. Leave alone that long wick. That's just manipulation. So then the market came to react on this impure liquidity. Market came to react on this impure liquidity. It's going up. Now, if you look at, again, this area on 4 hours, you can clearly see that the market has also done this. So we expect probably price to keep on, and the price has come to react on this area. Sorry. Together. So we might be having, maybe we might be having more push-ups or probably price keeping to go up. Maybe react on that area and maybe come. Then now we start, coming all the way down. Are we all together? I think that is clear. That is on NSD CHF. So there's another pair I think I shared. It was EURUSD. EURUSD. I don't know if this trade is gonna be happening soon. For intradays, once price comes at this zone, consider to look for buys. Refine and look for buys from around here. It will take you up further. So that is on EURUSD. I don't need to say much about that. Let me focus on the pairs that you guys have asked. There was GU and GBPUSD. 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 There's this setup that you are having here. We are waiting for price to come here. 30 minutes, but the market decided to go before tapping us. But just now price will come and react. Let me go to 4 hours. Now there's this area. We expect price to come tap here and we go up, but the market decided to go without us. So those are like how many pips? 600 pips, 700, in fact 700 pips. So right now, if I go back to the monthly time frame, guys, we need to know where we are in terms of price before we do further engagement. So price is going all the way to our area of liquidity, right? So I can remove this here. Price is going to our area of liquidity. And there we have type, monthly we have type. Which type is that? Type 5. So I expect price to go further inside, maybe even to 31.3600 before we sell. So if I go to the daily time frame, okay, we have that. Initially we had a shift, rather transition, and the transition had a type 5. The market has come here. So there's a likelihood of us, if you go to the daily time frame, remember we are concerned. Okay, let me change the colors to avoid confusion, guys. Okay, guys, I think I've spent so much time here. So I had to spend more than 2 hours on a Zoom doing breakdown. But anyway, let me see. So if you check on monthly, good. So we have this left area that is unconsumed. Change the colors. Yes, so we have that. So monthly unconsumed. Then remember we had this type. We had this type. We have that type. That's type 5. Then we have this. So in this case, I'll go for this extreme liquidity before we drop right together. You see, the previous move was bearish. The recent move, it's bullish. And where is market price going? Price going for the. Here I think there's a consumption that has happened because of, if you look at those weeks. So we are left with this part. Probably it could even be up to here. But since this has gone, so we have this area. So if I go to the daily time frame, when I go to the daily time frame, price has this area, which is also a type 5. So type 5. So if I go to anytime you see something like this will not hold, guys. This won't hold. It won't hold. So which means you're gonna continue going up. This won't hold. There are types of fake breakouts, rather strong structures and weak structures. So this won't hold. So that tells me now there's a likelihood of now that since that is daily, the market will be seeking areas for more buys. When I'm talking of seeking for areas for more buys, the market might come all the way to that normal flip or come to this other flip. Then from this zone, it will buy. You know, it has to get more liquidity to buy and come inside here before maybe now we start doing what? Selling. But let me check on 4 hours and what we have on 1 hour. You know, I've just considered daily. But for the aspect of swinging, these are the time frame that we use, monthly and daily. So we have that. Guys, this is one I want you to be keen. In the classes, you've been talking about flips. So this is like liquidity engineering daily. Why am I saying so? Price. I want you guys to look at this keenly. Price took this. Then again, the market came and took this. So we expected if this market was coming, it will come and react from here. And then do what? But what happened? The market instead decided to do what? To go up. So if the market decide to react from here, it might come here, then push up further. Are we following? But of course, refinement has to follow with the proper time frame movement and coordination, rather alignment. That's what we have. Now, still going to the monthly time frame because I believe this zone is going to be broken for price to go all the way upside there. So if I come to daily and focus on this, what do we have? The daily time frame, we have this structure that was consumed. See this structure. Then we have this reaction here. Then we have this type 5. So when you're refining the daily, that tells you now you're gonna consider entries from this particular area in the furthermost deviation. So from there, if you measure the pips, it will tell us if you're gonna go to. Those are like 48 pips. So that tells us we'll be going to H1. Are you guys following? You know, I need to see on the chat section if you guys are following. I'm showing you the swinging, and then I finish up with the intraday. Just updating you on the swinging. And then I go for, I don't know if my, okay. I don't know, I've been lazy to pay for my whatever. So for intradays, we go back to daily. For intradays, price is tending to react from this area. I have this area that price was trying to do a liquidity buildup. So I have this area that price was trying to do a liquidity buildup. So let me go to 1 hour or even 4 hours. I show you intradays. For intradays, I'm gonna teach you something. So price break structure here. Then this is the inside formation that we have. This is a zone where market reacted from. So for intradays, the first area you can consider for buys is around here, right? You can consider some buys here that will come and break that zone. That fails, you'll be coming for this structure down. For hours, 30 minutes. 4 hours, 30 minutes. 4 hours, 30 minutes. Nice. So this is our area of interest for intradays. But before we go there again, do we have any candlestick that has closed above? No, this one has not closed. So which means we're gonna be coming all the way down here. So having said that, I want to look at liquidity consumption. So this is the immediate structure that I have. If I go to 5 minutes, I'm showing you areas of intradays where you can get buys. After this, I'm gonna get some entries also for myself to take advantage. Someone is making noise. Who is this? Okay. I hope you guys are still there. I hope you guys are still there with me. So after this, someone to go, probably Churchill or anyone, will go to Discord and share on members area, share the trades that we have shared. Someone will go to the Discord and try to go to the Discord and try to do what? Share the setups so that other members can take advantage of that. I'm giving that work to Nash, and make sure you text me on WhatsApp. So make sure you go to the Discord. You'll share the setups on Discord so that guys can have advantage of that. That is, I know, Nation, I think you have my number. I think you have my number, 0701043762. Make sure you text me on WhatsApp. So yeah, so Churchill or Leonard or anyone, you'll go and share those summaries of those trades that we have done here, the breakdown. So GU for intraday, okay. Trying to look for a very nice setup. So that is 30 minutes. Okay, hold on. 30 minutes. I'm looking for a flip on 5 minutes on liquidity engineering. That's where I'll be entering. So here I have a flip. I have this flip. How many pips? 15 pips. That's a nice one. So stop loss of 20 pips. So the best area that I'm gonna be buying from. I want you guys to learn something. Anytime you do analysis, you need to go to the constant time frame and see where your entries. It's on the week, on the 4 hours. So this could be a nice entry for me to look for my first buy for intradays today. Then I can target. That's an RR of 1 to 6. So if I go to 30 minutes, I can use it to manage. So that means my first take profit will be on the turning point. My turning point. My turning point is supposed to be here. So my first take profit will be an RR of 1 to 3, which is around this area. Then the final TP will be up there. So that's on GBPUSD. Are we together? Are we all together up to that before? Any other pair? So I finalized, someone talked about USD-JPY. Let me talk about USD-JPY. USD-JPY. Look at 50. These things are just aligning. If you're using common sense and you understand the liquidity, life becomes sweet and interesting. No pressure. Just enjoy. I feel like this week I'm going to make some good. So let me download this and share on Discord. GBPUSD. Logic and common sense, GBPUSD. I want to look at USD CHF. Sorry, I mean USD JPY. First of all, share this on Discord right now. I want to take the trade. GBPUSD intraday idea. With our strategy, you can trade even sugar. Is it true, Nelson? So long as anything that is traded on the financial market, even if it is sugar, you can trade it, as long as you understand liquidation. So that is GBPUSD. Let me look at USD JPY. Let me look at USD JPY. USD JPY. USD JPY. Hold on. Are we guys following? Let me see your reaction on the chat section so that I know we are listening. You know, I might be making a lot of noise and maybe other people are not even here. I need to know if you guys are following. All right, perfect. So you guys are following. Perfect. So let me look at USD JPY. When I see this, I know that you're together. You know, when you're doing a virtual session, you don't know who is serious, who is just, you know, but so long as you're in this meeting, that means you're serious. Anyway, so let's look at USD JPY. USD JPY. USD JPY. As usual, monthly time frame is very important. Now, so when you look at the monthly time frame, we had this area of liquidity. Price came, tapped on this one, went up. Right now, go to the daily time frame. We can clearly see that market, okay. The market right now, it's reacting on this weekly, it's reacting on this type. This is type 1. Yes, type 1 liquidity. I have that type 1 liquidity. If I go to the daily time frame, have this area. That is on daily time frame. So we had transition and formations. We had this transition. Let me show you. We had this transition. But since this structure wasn't strong enough for that transition, then price had left this inside structure. That's what the market has come to consume. See this. This structure here. I believe you guys understand what I'm talking about. So prices come there, and then below it we had a type 1, which is here. So you can do a refinement and see if you can get some buys from around this area. So we go to H1. We go to H1. You need to get to understand what is happening. I need to get to see as consumption of liquidity happened. Structures are being created. Nice. So when you look at that, we had this structure being left down here. This formation, this one has been consumed. So let me see the number of pips from that area. 50 something, 60 something. So as long as market has tapped here, you can still go back to this area. And price has touched there. So two possibilities, guys. So I'll get some slight buys. I'll get some slight buys. Easy 1 hour. The market has formed a type 1 here. And if I go to 15 minutes, be aiming here. So if I go to 50, this is intraday, guys. Price is trying to form. Okay. No, we'll continue selling. We'll continue selling cause the only time we consider buying, it's only when we'll have any body candlestick closing above. If we'll have any body candlestick closing above this area, if you have any body candlestick closing at 140.998 daily, then we will consider whatever structure that will be created here. We align it with, maybe if this candlestick comes and closes above here, so look for any reasons that will give us buys. We'll be aiming here, right? That's the first scenario. That will give us around 150 plus pips. So that is the only time we will consider buying is the moment we have a body candlestick closing above here. But for this specific case, where we are right now, if I go to 15 minutes, I can see a transition, but still, I don't have any reasons to allow me to buy further. So which tells me from the upside, I need to consider sales, right? So I'll have this. These are intradays. You know, intradays like advanced scalping, guys. So I have this type of liquidity. So I can consider having sales from around this zone. If you see that the stop loss is big, refine. It's 15 minutes. 20 something, 21 pips. So we refine further. So we have this structure here, and you have this one up here. So as far as I'm concerned, 3 minutes. Yes, I'll consider to have my my sells from around this area. So long as the stop loss makes sense, you don't need to do further refinement. So you can have an SL of 15 pips and then get your sells from up there. Have your sells from up here. The sell of 15 pips is 1 heart. Then you target down here. There's a likelihood of USD JPY to come down there before we get confirmation to start buying strongly. So yeah, that's what I have on USD JPY. Look for some sells from around that zone. So it's just patience. Let me remove these to avoid confusion. So I can sell from there, target down here. But if you have anybody on 1 hour candlestick closing above, I think it's supposed to be, hold on. Let's see if this one is manipulation. No, this is manipulation. So let's just, first of all, if these cells won't be valid, then this is what will happen. If this trade fails, this is what I'm anticipating to happen. The market will, of course, come back down here. Then I will confirm liquidity flow that will help us buy. Yes, that is it. So on USD JPY, I'm looking for sales from around that area. Yes, makes more sense. I'm looking for some sales from around that area. Looking for sales from around that area. But this week is of manipulation, so I'm kind of skeptical about that. Hold on. 15 minutes. Okay, so I'll be looking for sales from that area for USD JPY. Then come down based on what the structure shows us will be. Either continue selling or I think I will be looking for sales from there. More sales, guys. More sales. In fact, it might even be coming all the way. You see? Yeah, we might be coming for that. More sales. Yeah, so USD JPY sells from around that area. Are we together? Any other pair that you want us to look at? Or anyone with a different view? Whatever I'm saying is just analysis. I'm not a market maker, I'm just doing analysis. Okay, so I think up to that point, you can end it here. I'm going to upload this live breakdown on YouTube, and then I'll share the links across our groups. You can go and watch it for learning. Maybe if you need to confirm something. So you guys have a beautiful day. Tomorrow again in the morning, I think I'll do a session. Then in the evening, I hope if I'll have energy today, in the evening at 8 p.m. we'll continue with our masterclass series. So that we go on. It is my number is 0701. Let me type it on. The number is 07. Where is that? See on the screen. or I can type it on the chat section. 070104 07004 3762 is my number. If you need any, if you have inquiries, reach out to me for that. So guys, that is what I have for today. I think now I'm gaining my strength. I'll be active on Discord with more updates. I'll be dropping some updates on pairs that are developing nice swings, intradays, but I'm so much on gold today and the JPY pairs. I really want to see if I can make some good. I want, let me make it publicly. Let me see. No, it's tricky. This week I want, if I can make like $8,000, I'll be happy this week. That is my target for this week. I make $8,000. There's something I'm doing. Chini ya maji. Underwater. There's something I'm doing, so I need some money to sort it out. Anyway, you guys have a lovely afternoon and full week ahead. Let's be active on our groups now. We're back. When I'm silent, people are silent. That is so bad. You guys should be just active in the group. So let's be active on Discord in our groups and let's make money. If there's any concern questions, drop them down. We will be able to grow as a team. You guys have a lovely afternoon. I'm going to end the meeting here and then I'll upload it on YouTube and I'll share the link.